Hey everybody, Steve Prasbrowski here. Welcome to tip number 41 in the series on 101 tips to ace your promotional exam. Let's get going here. As a reminder, my website, code3firetrain.com, has lots of great free resources. Please check it out for more of these videos, as well as a lot of other documents and other valuable information to help you or someone else be the best that you or they can be. All right, as a reminder, this is also based on my latest book from Fire Engineering Books and Videos called 101 Tips to Ace Your Promotional Exam, where I'm going through one by one to try to give the tip. And I'm not reading from the book and I'm not giving away the book necessarily. I'm covering what the tip is and sort of covering some of my own personal opinion, I guess, or feedback or whatever to help build upon what that tip is. And obviously, each of the tips have a couple pages or more written on each of them that go into more depth. But I'm just sort of trying to wet the whistle just to expose you to what's in the book if you haven't had a chance to check it out. Or if you have checked it out, thank you very much. And also maybe there's some other nuggets that you're going to gather from what I'm talking about. Again, available off my website or Fire Engineering's website. So tip number 41. We've talked about a lot of different tips to help you be the best that you can be in your pursuit of the badge, or even just in your current position. But tip number 41 focuses on take career or professional. Well, excuse me, they're both the same, not or. Take career/professional and personal development classes. Now, you could probably argue that personal development is the same as career or professional development. And when I say the term career, even if you're a volunteer firefighter, that this may not be your full-time position, you know, don't worry about the word career. Still prefer personal and professional development, really stuff that's above and beyond what your organization is expecting you to complete. I know a lot of people say, well, if my department didn't, send me to the training, or if they're not providing me the training on duty or our weekly drills or whatever it is, then I'm not going to do it. Well, okay, but your department, if you're lucky, is going to give you about that much of the necessary knowledge, skills, and abilities, training, and education that you're going to need in your lifetime, in your career. So you've got to take the time to go above and beyond. Now, some of the examples could include position specific stuff. Now, when I say position specific stuff, let me get right to the chase here. If you're a firefighter or engineer going for company officer, then position specific stuff is not the stuff for your current position. It's for the position that you want, if not the one above. Meaning, when I was a firefighter/engineer going for the captain position, I was taking chief officer classes, battalion chief level classes. And before you're going, hey, dumbass, why are you taking battalion chief level classes? Because you're going for the captain's position. Well, hear me out here. As a firefighter engineer, during the course of my time in that position, I was preparing to be a company officer. I was also at some point wanting to become a chief officer, but like in most departments, you have to first, go up the ranks. So I was preparing to be a company officer. Well, I'd also taken all the captain level classes. At the time, California State Fire Training had about 10 classes, all 40-hour classes that were required for your, at the time, what was called fire officer certification. So you take the classes, pay the fee, get your fire officer certification. Well, now it's called company officer certification, but it's the same concept. So you took all these basic classes for your fire officer certification, related to things that an officer would have to deal with: instructional ability, teaching ability, command and control, fire investigation basics, public education basics, fire prevention basics, management related basic stuff. So you take all these classes. So I had already taken those classes, I knocked them out. Well, I could have just stopped right there. But one of my best mentors, most wisest mentors, retired Deputy Chief Jim Edwards of the Oakland Fire Department, had always taught me years ago, prepare for the position that you want, but also prepare for one position above. So as I was going for captain, the next position above was battalion chief. And I've discussed that already in one of the previous tips, but the reason why being that, if you really want to do well at the test, you'll prepare for the position that you want, but you'll also prepare for the one above, because that one above is probably the person or the rank that's going to be on your process evaluating you. You're going to have to work for that person, so you might as well know now what their job entails, so you can best have a good relationship with them and meet their expectations, but also because you may have to act up in that position. So prepare for that position, but also prepare for the one above. So getting back to what I was doing is I had taken all the company officer classes. So it was like, well, do I sit and do nothing? No. I took the battalion chief level classes that were towards the chief officer certification, just more going from tactical level to strategic level stuff. So when I actually sat in my captain's oral interview, I was able to tell them that I had completed my certification for fire officer, the classes, and also paying the fee. But I'd also completed the coursework for the next up position, which is pretty much their position because it was pretty much battalion chiefs that were evaluating me. And some of them, well, not some of them, one of them had asked me during my captain's oral interview, why did you complete the battalion chief level classes when you were just testing for captain? Good question to ask. And I go, well, that's a good question. Because I had already completed my company officer stuff, I felt it was necessary to go to that next rank above, even though I'm not in that next rank and I've got to test for that next rank once I get promoted to this current rank I want. But I also shared my mentoring moment from Chief Edwards about the importance of preparing for one position above, which was their position, because that was what the Raiders were. Excuse me. And it was interesting watching the eyes light up. These two chief officers actually going, wow, this guy is not just preparing for captain, but he's preparing for one position above. And I was trying to be humble and not cocky or arrogant. I mean, I'm not there to take their jobs. I know I got to be a captain, then do that job well for a few years before I could even think about testing for battalion chief. But I explained my reason why I've taken those classes. So that to me is taking position specific stuff, not to mention the one above. That said, back to position specific stuff, another nugget. I remember one of our captains test years ago, talking to the Raiders afterward about the candidates. And one candidate had really not done that well. He actually had failed. And I remember one of the Raiders, a battalion chief, comes back and tells the story about this one guy who's been a firefighter engineer for like 10 to 12 years. So he's testing for captain. You would think that he's talking about position specific stuff, about taking classes related to those things I just said: instructional ability, fire prevention, management, leadership, supervision basics, command and control. He had basically told the oral board when they asked him that starting opening question, tell us how you prepared yourself, related to education, training, experience. And of course he starts going out about talking about the things in his resume. Yeah, I prepared myself by completing the department's academy, the Department Recruit Academy 12 years ago. I've taken my Rescue Systems 1 class, my Driver Operator 1A, 1B class. Now, Driver Operator and Rescue Systems, those are both firefighter or engineer position-specific classes. He's in that position. But more importantly, those are the things that we forced him to go through, meaning as part of his Recruit Academy and the probationary process, everybody had to go through those classes. So it's not like he was telling anything new. He wasn't going above and beyond. He was basically listing all the crap that he had to go through versus going above and beyond of doing the things that he should have been doing to prepare for that position. Mind you, he didn't do well in the process because he was really, as I've shared before in the past, testing for the current position he's in, not for the one he wants. So again, if you're in a current position, you should have already completed those classes that are in the position, or even one more experience. We were one of the common questions that we've traditionally asked in our captain's process. Again, firefighters or engineers going for captain, we've asked them, what have you done related to training education in the last 2 years? Not back to that other guy, not the last 10, 12 years, but the last 2 years related to the position that you want, captain. And what do you plan to do in the next 2 to 3 years when you become a captain? And there's so many people, again, thinking like the current rank they're in, firefighter, engineer, that go into the captain's test going, oh yeah, in the last 2, 3 years, I've taken, position specific stuff, not the one they want. And when I get, one guy literally, when I get promoted to captain, I plan to take hazardous materials technician. I plan to take rescue systems 1. I plan to take low angle rescue, high angle rescue, all task level firefighter stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're a firefighter. However, he's going for a supervisory position of captain. He should have been saying, well, I plan to take classes related to command and control, tactics and strategy, leadership ability, supervisory ability, maybe discipline, firefighter bill of rights. That's applicable only in California, but it's related to discipline and necessary things that officers need to be aware of. And again, he wondered why he didn't do too well, because it's like, no, focus on the position that you want as well as the one above. But again, position specific for the one you want. Again, like I mentioned already, leadership, supervision, management. And I've also touched on taking classes for the position that you're testing for, but also for the one above. You may even never think. You may think you may not want to go to that one above. Like if you're testing for captain, you may go, you know what, get me the captain spot. I'm golden. Well, that's okay to say right now, but a lot of things can change in life. And that's why I think it's really critical that don't sell yourself short, don't limit yourself. Right now, that may be all you want. But you know what? I've known a lot of people that take that next step and realize, you know what? I love this position, say captain, but you know what? I want to get the next challenge. I want to get the next bugle. I want to be able to take this to the next level because I feel there's maybe some, things I can get more involved with in the department, or maybe there's a leadership struggle in your department where you don't have people stepping up, and maybe you're the one that goes, you know what, I'm willing to do that. So that's why I think it's always prepare yourself or one step above. And ultimately it comes down to this: if you want to earn credibility and respect from your troops, not to mention the administration, but especially your troops, prepare for the position that you aspire to, and not necessarily and the one above. So take the classes, read the books related to the position that you aspire to, so you can best prepare for what they may throw at you during the promotional process, and really ultimately, again, not just during the promotional process, but once you get the position, because there's no turning back at that point. So, as always, thank you very much for the gift of your time. Please feel free to connect with me on social media. My contact information is on my website as well. And I hope you're getting some value to each of these videos that I'm doing. And until the next one, be safe, take care, and we'll see you soon.